Welcome back to BadgerBlitzTV, your Rivals.com source for all things Wisconsin athletics. Once again, I'm Matt Perkins, joined, as always, by Rivals.com national analyst and my good friend, someone I am very thankful for this year, Clint Cosgrove. Clint, like we always say, it's the best time of the week.
You know it. Happy Thanksgiving. Excited to talk about the World Cup, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, dude, that Saudi Arabia upset over Argentina killed my wallet. Don't even want to go there right now.
Ooh.
But someplace I do want to go is the Badgers Den. And that is our message boards, because we always get some great questions from our watchers and listeners. And Clint, you know what the people want to know about? They want to know about your thoughts on Sean Lewis, because, you know, you've been talking about Sean and how you think he'd be a really good hire for the Badgers. Clint mentioned the idea of this is straight from the board of Sean Lewis bringing his offense to Wisconsin. How do you think the current personnel would fit with that philosophy? And would there need to be some personnel turnover? And I want to mention quickly with Sean Lewis, his OC is Andrew Sauter. Andrew Sauter is someone I've been extraordinarily impressed with for years now. So you might call it Sean Lewis's offense, but I think it is just as much, if not more, Andrew Sauter's offense. But let's hear what you think about this offensive style, this scheme, Coach Lewis, who I am just blown away by as a person, and then the scheme and the personnel that the Badgers have now.
Okay, let me start out by saying this. This is not a knock to any of the current offensive staff. This is pure speculation. I have talked to Sean, and never once have we talked about him going to Wisconsin. So
no, he's a head coach. I don't think it's I don't even think it's a lateral move to go from, even as a group of five head coach, to a upper power five coordinator. You don't see coaches making that move willingly without being fired.
Well, would you, if offered to have a lesser role, take double your pay at another place?
It depends on who I am as a person, because there are some people out there who want to be leaders of men, and if you're not going to have the same power or the same say, and to some people that is more valuable than money. I don't know Sean's inner thinking about that. I mean, I would love Sean. I love Sean. He's been on the podcast with me and Bernie. Dude, if I would run through a wall for that dude. But
yeah, I love him too.
It's an interesting conundrum. Personally, having interacted with Sean, I don't know that he would do that, but it would be a coup for the Badgers strategically.
Yeah. So first off, Sean is a fantastic head coach.
Yes.
He is a leader of men. He does it the right way. He cares about his players. He cares about his coaches. He is a high energy guy, and I think he likes setting that tone of, this is the energy we're going to bring. We're going to do it the right way, and we're going to build a special program. At the same time, Matt coaches are making the 400,000 to 800,000 range. I think he's in the 400,000 to 500,000 range. I do not see Sean as being money as an end all be all to him. I think happiness and the ability to lead men, like you say, is probably more important to him than money. The ability to impact an entire team and an entire institution. That being said, Kent State is it's a hard place to win at, and he's basically taken them, and I don't want to say as far as they can go, because I have no question that he can do it again. He can win a MAC championship and everything like that. But before Sean came there, before Flash Fast was in play, they had never won a bowl game before.
Yeah.
And he goes to back-to-back bowl games. They win their first bowl game ever. And then it's just a hard place to have that consistent success. Now, they do a great job recruiting, but any place that isn't going to get top-tier talent year in and year out because of the name of the program and stuff like that, they're going to have a couple years that aren't as good as the standard that has been set. And then sometimes you can become a victim of your own success. I don't think that will be the case with Sean. If I'm Kent State, I'm doing everything I can to keep him there for life, because he will take the program, and already has, to heights that they can't be at. At the same time, I have a feeling that Sean would like to be a leader of men at a Power 5 school. And if he's done what he has done and been the person he has been at Kent State, and has yet to land a Power 5 job out of that success, especially with the amount of jobs that have been open during the time he was having that success, then, you start wondering, okay, if I go to a Power 5 big school as an OC, do big things, which he would do, I'm a year or two out from a Power 5 job, and it's a no-brainer, because then you've proven success at the Group of 5 level. You've proven you can, coordinate at a high level, which he already has.
He's already been a Power 5 OC at Syracuse.
Yeah, I know, but Dino.
Syracuse is not the same as Wisconsin. I mean, I grew up in Western New York. Syracuse is not the same as Wisconsin.
Well, and then also look at it, and Dino's been very good, and he was on the hot seat going in, and look at their performance, after Sean left. Kent State got a lot better. Syracuse started to fall off.
Yep.
And Sean is a special coach.
Yes,
he is a special person. He is a great person. He is the type of guy who you would want your family around. Now, I don't know if he'd even considered it in a million years. That's me speculating. I don't know if Jimmy wants to go that direction. That is me speculating. I know they're friends, So then you get to the next part, which the question was about, and that personnel. Is, how does his scheme fit into personnel? Sean is smart enough to adapt his scheme to personnel, 1. And 2, you can run a tempo offense. You can spread the field laterally without being throw it every single play. I guarantee you, and I don't know, but if you go and look at their run-pass ratio, I bet Kent State is pretty even. So I think that he would spread the field horizontally, creating running lanes. You're not getting 7-man boxes. And just because you're running tempo, that gives you some options. 1, it makes the defense think on their heels. And if you're not subbing, they don't get to sub either. So they have to basically play base defense when you're going up against that high-tempo offense. So you get to the line, and just because you're high-tempo doesn't mean that you got to snap the ball right away. You can just run up to the line, get the defense a little on their heels, and then you can sit at the line, kind of see how things look who's lining up. If you think that they're about to, change personnel, go ahead and catch them quickly and snap the ball, because you only have to wait if you're changing personnel on offense. Otherwise, the defense is at your mercy. So I think his offense creates a ton of mismatches. They're well-conditioned. They can play with tempo. They can slow the game down. They can run the ball. You can still have a power running game out of 10 and 11 personnel. I don't care what you say. You can still run power out of 11 personnel. All you got to do is go 4 wide or 3 by 1 and motion a tight end in, and he becomes the fullback. You still have the offensive lineman to run your gap scheme stuff. There's just so much you can do with that offense. You can make up for talent deficiencies with that offense. I do think the pieces are in play. They've had a lot of success with their quarterbacks there, and a lot of that is
Dustin
because
Crum's
of Sean.
The guy that really comes to mind there. They're 60-40 run to pass this year. They're running a little bit more because they don't have Dustin Crum, that elite level Matt quarterback that they had.
And this kid's not bad either.
No, Crum though was a different level. Crum was one of the best quarterbacks in the country, any conference when he was there. So they're breaking new. I mean, he was a starter for 4 years. Like, he was a dude.
And part of his development, it goes to Sean.
Yeah.
And so, to me, you got a former player. You got a guy who kids are drawn to, kids love. He can recruit his butt off. He's not afraid to recruit. He's a great evaluator. He's a great person. I mean, he just checks every box. Do they want to go in that direction? I have no clue.
If the team went, if they were able to pull Lewis and Souter as a quarterback coach, that would be really something. I think you would see an offense that would be historic levels, like Russell Wilson type levels, because of the scheme, the pace, and everything that they're able to do. I don't care what personnel is on the team right now, because I feel like, as you know, like, a good coach is good with a scheme. A great coach adapts to his players. And I think that Sean, and I think Souter too, like, if anyone who's listened to me for a while knows,
Souter's a Sean protege.
Yeah. Anyone who's listened to me for a while know I was advocating for Souter to be the OC last year when they hired Ingram. So, I think the world of him as a coach. I think the world of both those guys as coaches. And I think that would be an absolute coup for Wisconsin should that happen. I think, we all know pretty much now, it may not be on paper, but everyone knows that Jim Leonhard is going to be the next head coach at the University of Wisconsin. I don't think we're really, I don't think that's, especially with Leopold signing the extension in Kansas and all that stuff happening. Seems very, very, very unlikely that anyone else besides Jim Leonhard is the head coach of the Wisconsin Badgers come this time next week as we record.
I guess we'll find out.
I guess we will find out. So, one, though, of the things that the next head coach of the Badgers is going to have to do is start pulling in some more recruits, because the Badgers have lost 3 since Paul Chryst was fired. 2 of those are wide receivers. So we're going to take a look at a couple potential receiver options here coming out, as the Badgers are going to need to hit that position, especially, Jamel Howard, the defensive tackle who decommitted, went up to Michigan for a visit. I'm going to definitely be keeping a very, very, very close eye on what he does, especially if Coach Leonhard is named the permanent head coach. I have no inside information, but he feels like the kind of kid that would recommit if Coach Leonhard were to have the interim tag taken off. But again, no inside information from me on that one. Let's talk receivers. And the first guy that we're going to talk on the wide receiver room is Dayton Howard. And he's a kid out of Kansas City, Clint, that you sent over my way. And he is an intriguing prospect. We'll talk about Chance Fitzgerald here in a minute, but let's start by talking about Dayton Howard. First of all, where did this kid even come from? How did he get on your radar? And then we'll talk about his game.
I was looking for receivers, and I believe they offered them. Kansas City kid, big, long, impressive film. There's another kid, actually. His brother was Quentin Conley from last recruiting cycle. He's more of an edge rusher, who's kind of a similar type player who could play tight end receiver. But this is a big dude, and this kid can run and high point the ball. And sometimes with these big body receivers, it takes them a little bit to grow into their frame. And so it's just a matter of, the body control aspect. Sometimes these guys look like, baby deer, but I mean, you look at them here, the kid just now is a blown coverage. I understand that, but those kids couldn't run with him anyway. He's 6'5", he splits the field. He's got great get off. A lot of his plays are vertical. As we know, Wisconsin could use a vertical threat. But, you see him get skinny, get inside, work through defenders, and once again, stretch the field, soft hands for the finish. And a kid like this that can run and stretch the field, you need it in their offense. So he's also going to be a blocking guy. He's a guy who could possibly grow into a tight end type jumbo slot, as you would say. And you talk about going 4 wide and motioning a guy in to run the power. Well, this is that type of guy. So physical kid, can do a little bit of everything. Just as good of an athlete as he is a receiver. Late riser, late bloomer. Maybe people were trying to keep him under the wraps, but you talk about if you're going to utilize your current personnel and try to run out of more wide receiver type sets, you're going to need receivers who can block downfield. He checks that box as well. Look at him go up in coverage, knowing that he's going to get blasted, doesn't care, high points the ball, makes the play. Just a lot to like here. Now, I believe he may be visiting Iowa. Iowa may be hired to beat on him since they were the original offer, I believe. And, so that's what you're dealing with right now. But it also shows you there's guys like this out there. And if you are willing to put in the work, if you're willing to use your network, if you're willing to go see the kids and trust your own evaluation, kids don't need stars to be good players.
No, absolutely not.
Kids need offers to get stars. So I don't know what your thoughts are, Perko, but the kid's pretty good from my point of view.
The 2 things that stand out to me, obviously, like going up, high pointing the ball, catching with his hands at that frame. That's something that you love to see. And it's a smooth. He's a smooth operator out there in the field. He's not gonna seem like he's someone who's like the quick stutter steps and that kind of thing. But you watch him out there, and he's a long strider, and he glides, man. Like, especially at that size, it's something that's really, really impressive. And with him and the guy next guy we're talking about, Chance Fitzgerald, another big receiver, a little bit smaller. He's 6'3", but another kid who uses the bigger frame to really, not just block out defenders, high point the ball, but you mentioned as a jumbo slot top. I don't think Fitzgerald's going to go into that, but you could definitely see Howard growing into that. And I think that, with the evolution of offense, the evolution that offense needs to take for Wisconsin, this is the kind of kid that you have to get into the program to complement some of the smaller, shiftier, faster guys they've got, like a Chimmery DK. Skylar Bell on Wisconsin, who's been excellent this season. He's not as big of a body. He's he's an excellent route runner, but he doesn't have like that big frame. And it's been a while since Wisconsin had a big frame like that could go out and be a pass catcher that is not at the tight end level, but can actually get to the third level of the field with that size. And so I think that is going to be something that's really important for them to. They're hoping that Tommy McIntosh can do that, big kid out of Michigan from the 2022 class, but they need another one in 23. They need another in 23 who can be that 6'5" frame. That is going to be huge. Let's talk about Fitzgerald, though, from my neck of the woods down here in Tennessee. Hunter Denote, who is just a fantastic in-state talent evaluator and a good friend of mine here down in Nashville, absolutely just raves about this kid and his work ethic and how he has jumped from a junior to a senior. And you see he's getting some serious offers now. He was a kid that was really under the radar, sophomore, junior, and has just completely blossomed here in Nolensville, just north of Nashville, against some really good competition, like really, really good competition. He has shined this year. So what do you like about Fitzgerald's game? And then how do you think he could fit in for the Badgers?
I've been on the Fitzgerald train for a long time. Through an early ranking on him that people probably thought we had him rated too high. I did a video called Stock Risers probably 1 or 2 weeks before he started blowing up. He really only had FCS and Group of 5 offers, but the kid's a dynamic stud. He is a big time 4-star caliber receiver that can stretch the field for the home run. He can take the intermediate and short ball to the house. He's fantastic with the ball after the catch. Great balance, strong kid, punishes people on the field. You go on some of his clips on Instagram and you've got NFL players commenting on him, be like, oh my God, this kid is a dude. Talk about another glider, another runner. He is a big body. He's not your 6'5" type, but he's your 6'3", 195, 200 type. And he's a physical mismatch. He can high point the ball, win 50-50 balls. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's a fantastic route runner. I think you can line him up on the outside, the inside, whatever it may be. And he makes defenders look stupid. He's fantastic with the ball in space. He's not just a one-trick pony as far as stretching the field. This kid is a player. I've been high on him for a long time. This is one of the plays that, you see him just take an underneath route and everybody's got angles on him, yet he finds a way to score. So he runs like his life depends on getting to the end zone, and he plays like it as well. Late riser, it was only a matter of time. When college coaches were coming to me asking about receivers, kind of a little bit before his blow up, he's the first name I gave everybody. And to me, he is a special talent. He's got a chance to be a difference maker at the next level. He dropped a top 12. Wisconsin was in it, I believe. And but this kid went from Group of 5 offers to like 13, 15 Power 5 offers in a matter of 2-3 weeks. So he's no secret anymore. He's going to be highly contested. I believe he visits Pitt this weekend, or was that last weekend? I can't remember. Minnesota's in the mix as well. But you take this guy any day of the week. He's a big time player, and I can't say enough about him.
Yeah, I'm a fan of his too. His top 12, just quickly: Auburn, Georgia Tech, Oklahoma State, Michigan, Pitt, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Virginia Tech, Iowa, Louisville, Houston, and K-State. So, I mean, that is a solid group of offers right there for any receiver, especially someone available this late in the process at a position that's more and more important
and
every single season.
Yeah, he picked those offers. He got the first of those offers, I think, in like mid-October. So his recruitment's has really gone about a month long. But obviously, he caught the eye of plenty.
Absolutely. Okay, so last thing we're going to talk about real quick. We had one question in the den about just how much do facilities really matter? Because there's a video of Dan Orlovsky going to Clemson's facilities, their 100 yards of wellness. How much? I mean, obviously it's going to be different for every player, but just how much do facilities really matter?
You got facility kids, you've got jersey kids, you've got academic kids, you've got guys tied into a coach. When you're 16, 17, you don't know if you want to be a garbage man or a NASA, flight guy a lot of the time. So, I do think kids see the big picture. The facilities, wow, and you need to have them to land the top talent on a regular basis. Now, when you talk about wellness center and all of those, whether some teams have decompression chambers or these massage. I remember when I was at Dartmouth, we were bringing in a massage machine, one of those water massages that you used to be able to pay like $30 at the mall and go and get one of those. Like we were getting one of those put, in our players' lounge, like stuff like that matters because. The wow of the facilities is always going to, if you go to some dump of a facility and then the next week you go to some mecca of a facility, obviously that's going to stick out. All right. LSU, they've got their lockers are based off of business class seats on a Dreamliner. Every kid gets a business class recliner with, like a little plug-in TV. So those things do matter. But when you talk about the wellness stuff and whether it's, being one of those zero gravity running machines or, like I said, the massage stuff or, any type of chambers and everything like that, I think that along with facilities can make a big difference because then you're talking about player development and player wellness, extending your career, staying healthy. And, the good thing about great facilities is it keeps kids around the building. And as a coach, you love it when the kids are around the building. You want them to hang out. You want them to be there. You want to mentor them. If they're in there playing video games, fantastic. As long as they're getting their work done. And then you can be like, hey, stop in the office when you're done. But it's a great way to bond. Facilities, like I said, not the end all be all. For some kids, they will choose their place based off facilities. Just like some kids will choose off academics, some will choose off the coach they like, some will choose because they don't know why. It's just a feeling they got when they were there. But I have a feeling facilities can contribute to a feeling, and we are getting different levels of facilities as we move on. And the thing about them is the newest, greatest thing is upgraded somewhere else within a year or two. So it's a constant arms race because in order to get the best players, you have to be competitive in that realm.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that is going to do it for us here today on Badger Blitz TV. You can find Clint on all the social media at rivals_Clint. I'm at _Perko_. Still waiting for someone to buy me the real handle that I want. And
come on, let's pony up, guys.
I mean, maybe the Varsity Collective can help out with that. I'll show.
Not if it takes away from getting a quarterback.
No, not if it takes away from getting a quarterback. But if it helps getting a quarterback, I'm here. I'm all for it. So, and not just quarterbacks, any position across the board. So, we will be back next week with more on Badger recruiting. Make sure that you are heading on over to BadgerBlitz.com as much as you possibly can. Get in the den, get on the threads. We've got all the questions and answers there for you. So until next time, Clint, we will see you
in the den.
Yes, we will. We'll see you in the den, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.